the command center of the United Earth Space Agency, UESA, a palpable tension hung in the air as the first confirmed alien vessel, a sleek, silver craft of unimaginable technology, entered Earth's orbit. Major Tom Bennett, a seasoned space marine with a commanding presence, watched the live feed alongside his crew, a mix of military personnel and civilian scientists. The world had paused, breath held, awaiting the first interstellar encounter. "Signals coming through," announced Dr. Eric Voss, the lead communications officer, breaking the silence. On the screen, the image of an alien being materialized. The creature was tall, with iridescent skin and eyes that seemed to pierce through the void of space. "I am Syrinx, emissary of the Threx," it spoke, its voice resonating through the speakers, translated almost instantly. "Earthlings," Syrinx continued, "we have observed you from afar. We are curious about your kind." Bennett stepped forward. "I'm Major Tom Bennett, representing the United Earth Governments. We welcome you in peace and hope for mutual understanding." A thin smile crept across Syrinx's face, condescending yet curious. "Your primitive charm is quaint. Let us see if there's more to your species than your rudimentary achievements." Dr. Voss leaned over to Bennett, whispering, "They're scanning us, Tom, full spectral analysis. They're not just here for a chat." Bennett nodded, keeping his gaze fixed on the alien. "We've achieved much we're proud of, Syrinx. We're eager to learn from each other and grow together." "Indeed," Syrinx replied dryly. "We shall see. For now, we will remain in orbit as we consider your potential." As the transmission ended, Bennett turned to the room, where eyes full of concern met his. "Let's not let their arrogance sway us. We need to prepare for anything." Captain Lisa Mendez, his second-in-command, stepped up. "We should consider this an opportunity, Tom. They're technologically superior, but that doesn't make them unbeatable. Maybe it's time to show them what Earth can really do." "Agreed," said Bennett. "Let's get to work. Eric, keep an eye on any more communications. Lisa, gather the Defense Council. We need a strategy meeting within the hour." The team dispersed quickly, each member set on their tasks. Bennett remained behind, staring at the now blank screen where Syrinx had appeared. The weight of his responsibility felt heavier than ever. This was no longer just about defense, it was about proving humanity's worth in the cosmic hierarchy. As he prepared to leave the room, his old friend and military strategist, Colonel Jack Harper, approached him. "You think they're going to play nice after that show of superiority?" Jack asked, skepticism written all over his face. "No," Bennett replied, "but we've dealt with bullies before. We just need to find the right leverage." "And if we don't?" Jack pushed. "Then we fight on our terms," Bennett said, clenching his jaw. "We've got a planet to defend, Jack. Let's make sure we're ready for whatever these Threx throw at us." With that, they walked out together, stepping into the bustle of the command center that had now shifted into high gear. Every monitor, every piece of equipment buzzed with activity as Earth prepared to show its visitors that humanity was far from primitive. They were fighters, survivors, and they would stand united, no matter the challenge ahead. In the sprawling command room of the United Earth Space Agency, the mood had shifted from apprehension to strategy as Major Tom Bennett assembled his top advisors and military personnel for an urgent meeting. The room buzzed with low conversation until Bennett's voice cut through the noise. "Let's get to the point," Bennett began, standing before the holographic displays flickering with alien technology and schematics. "The Threx have made their disdain clear. They don't respect us and they've thrown down a gauntlet. We're not just fighting for survival, we're fighting for our place among the stars." Colonel Jack Harper, always the tactician, leaned forward. "They've issued a challenge. Some kind of combat trials on their terms, on a neutral asteroid belt. They're baiting us." Bennett nodded. "Exactly. But we're going to accept. We'll meet their challenge and raise them one better. I've got a plan that doesn't just rely on our tech or firepower." Dr. Eric Voss, the communications officer, chimed in. "You're thinking outside the box, aren't you, Tom?" "With all due respect, Major, how do you propose we match them with what we've got?" questioned Captain Lisa Mendez, her brow furrowed. "That's where it gets interesting," Bennett replied with a sly grin. "We don't use traditional soldiers, we use our primates." The room erupted in murmurs and questioning looks. "Primates? You mean gorillas? Monkeys?" Jack asked incredulously. Bennett clicked a button, and images of highly trained, genetically enhanced primates appeared on the screens. Not just any primates. These are special operatives trained under a classified program called Project Apex. They have enhanced strength, intelligence, and agility. They can handle specialized equipment and execute complex tactics. They're our unexpected ace. Lisa leaned back, processing the information. It's bold, I'll give you that. Using primates could give us the element of surprise, considering the Threx's apparent underestimation of our biological assets. Bennett paced slightly, his eyes scanning the room. It's more than surprise. It's psychological. Imagine the message we send when what they consider our lesser beings outsmart and outperform their best. We shake their arrogance at its core. Jack nodded slowly, warming to the idea. It's a gamble, but it's gutsy. How do we prepare them? We intensify their training immediately. We equip them with the latest in combat gear and simulate the environments they'll face. Dr. Voss, you'll oversee their technological integration. Lisa, I need you to coordinate logistics and deployment strategies. We move fast, and we move quietly. Eric nodded, a flicker of excitement in his eyes. I'll get the tech teams on it right away. Those primates will have the best support systems we can provide. And I'll start on the transport and engagement protocols, added Lisa, her initial skepticism giving way to resolve. Bennett concluded, This is our chance to flip the script. The Threx think they've seen all we have to offer. Let's prove them wrong. Let's show them what humanity really is capable of. With a newfound energy, the team set about their tasks, each member driven by a common goal, to defy expectations and secure humanity's dignity and respect among the stars. As they dispersed, Bennett lingered for a moment, looking at the images of the primates that might soon determine the fate of an entire species. His resolve hardened. This was not just a battle for survival, but a fight for humanity's legacy. The sprawling underground facility of Project Apex buzzed with heightened activity as Major Tom Bennett and his team began their ambitious plan to train an elite squad of primates for the upcoming trials against the Threx. The air was thick with the sounds of machinery and the occasional calls of the primates being readied for training. In the main observation room, Bennett stood alongside Dr. Eric Voss and Captain Lisa Mendez, watching through the one-way glass as a group of genetically enhanced gorillas interacted with advanced combat simulation gear. Their leader, a particularly intelligent silverback named Caesar, demonstrated remarkable problem-solving skills, quickly adapting to the new challenges presented to him. Caesar is exceeding all our expectations, remarked Dr. Sandra Lee, the project's lead primatologist, as she joined the group. His cognitive abilities and physical prowess make him the perfect candidate to lead the squad. Bennett nodded, his gaze fixed on Caesar, who was now expertly maneuvering through a digital obstacle course. How quickly can we get them combat ready? We've accelerated their training program, Sandra explained. With the neural enhancement tech Dr. Voss provided, they're learning at an unprecedented rate. I'd say we can have them mission ready in a few weeks. Eric added, the neural links allow them to interface directly with some of our latest military hardware. It's like they're born to do this. Lisa, who had been reviewing data on a tablet, looked up. The logistics are set. The transport to the asteroid belt is scheduled, and their gear will be ready. We need to ensure their combat tactics are as sharp as their physical abilities. Let's introduce more complex scenarios in the Sims, suggested Bennett. I want them to experience everything from zero-gravity combat to electronic warfare. If the Threx have surprises up their sleeves, I want us to be prepared. As the team discussed strategies, a group of military engineers led by Lieutenant Colonel Marcus Flynn entered the room. Marcus, a veteran in combat tech, carried a new type of biometric harness designed specifically for the primate squad. These harnesses will monitor their vitals and adapt the exoskeletons in real time during combat, Marcus explained, handing over a prototype to Sandra for inspection. It'll give them a significant edge, enhancing their strength and agility beyond natural levels. Sandra examined the harness, appreciative of its lightweight design and functionality. This will help protect them without restricting movement. Excellent work, Marcus. The team watched as the primates began training with the new gear. Caesar quickly adapted to the harness, using it to scale a wall with ease before swinging through a series of physical challenges. Bennett turned to his team, his voice firm yet inspired. These aren't just any soldiers. They're a new breed of warrior. The Threx won't know what hit them. With everyone in agreement, the final preparations were set into motion. The training intensified, pushing the primates to their limits while the team worked tirelessly to ensure every detail was addressed. The mood at Project Apex was one of cautious optimism mixed with a fierce determination to not just compete, but to outperform the alien challengers at their own game. As the session drew to a close, Bennett stayed back, watching Caesar and his team with a mix of pride and solemnity. They were not just Earth's unexpected champions, they were about to become the symbols of human ingenuity and spirit in the face of interstellar adversity. The asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, a desolate stretch of space scattered with rocky debris, became the unlikely arena for the first true test of humanity's unconventional warriors. Major Tom Bennett, along with his tactical team, monitored the mission from UESA's command center on Earth. The tension was palpable. The stakes could not have been higher. The Primate squad, led by the formidable Caesar, had been deployed stealthily to an asteroid designated as a forward operating base by the Threx. Outfitted with specialized spacesuits and armed with the latest in combat technology, they maneuvered through the asteroid's rugged terrain under the silent backdrop of space. "Team is in position," Captain Lisa Mendez announced, her eyes glued to the screen displaying live feed from Caesar's helmet camera. "Activate cloaking devices and approach the eastern quadrant. Threx sensors are weakest there," instructed Colonel Jack Harper, who was coordinating the ground tactics. The Primates, their movements almost ghost-like, advanced with a precision that belied their savage nature. The enhanced neural links allowed them to communicate non-verbally, coordinating their actions with near-perfect synchronicity. As they neared the Threx base, a guard, tall and imposing with a chitinous exoskeleton, emerged from a patrol path. Without missing a beat, Caesar signaled to two of his squad to flank the guard. A moment later, the guard was silently neutralized, his body swiftly hidden among the rocks. "First contact successful, no alarms triggered," Eric Voss relayed from his station, monitoring the enemy communications for any sign of distress. The squad pressed on, reaching the perimeter of the base. The base itself was a collection of geometric domes, pulsating with a soft bioluminescent glow. Caesar and his team planted explosive charges along critical structures, their actions swift and silent. As the explosives were set, Bennett gave the order. "Detonate on my mark. Mark!" The explosions were precise, tearing through the base and sending shock waves that rippled across the asteroid. Alarms blared, and the Threx scrambled to respond, but they were met with a barrage of gunfire and tactical maneuvers from the Primates, who exploited the chaos with expert agility. "Base is compromised. Enemy is in disarray," Lisa reported, her voice steady despite the adrenaline that coursed through her veins. "Have the team pull back to extraction point Echo," Bennett ordered. "We don't leave anyone behind, and we make sure every piece of tech they've secured is with them." The Primates retreated as methodically as they had attacked, carrying with them Threx technology and data pads, vital intelligence that could provide insight into the alien technology and strategic planning. Back at the command center, cheers erupted as the team watched the Primates safely board their extraction craft, the stolen Threx materials in tow. Bennett allowed himself a rare smile, feeling a mix of relief and pride. "Bring them home, and let's get ready for analysis. Great work, everyone," Bennett said, his voice filled with pride yet tinged with the gravity of their situation. Dr. Sandra Lee, who had been quietly observing the mission, leaned over to Bennett. "They performed remarkably. It's clear they understand the importance of their mission. They're not just following orders. They're fighting for their home." Bennett nodded in agreement, his thoughts already turning to the next steps. "They've done more than fight. They've sent a clear message to the Threx. We're not the underdogs they thought we were. Prepare for debriefing as soon as they land." As the command center buzzed with activity, preparing for the return of their new heroes, the first victory was marked not just by the success of the mission, but by the undeniable proof that humanity's hope might just lie in the most unexpected of champions. Following the unexpected victory at the Threx forward base, news of the Primate squad's success spread like wildfire across Earth. Major Tom Bennett watched with a mixture of pride and apprehension as humanity rallied behind their new heroes. Every news outlet buzzed with footage and analysis of the skirmish, turning Caesar and his team into symbols of human ingenuity and strength. However, the celebration was short-lived. Within days, the Threx responded with chilling precision. Their fleets, massive and menacing, launched a coordinated attack on Earth's outer colonies, starting with Mars. The message was clear. The Threx were not just superior in disdain, but in warfare as well. Bennett, alongside his strategic team, monitored the situation from UESA's command center, their earlier victory now overshadowed by the grim reality of war. "We need to act fast," Bennett declared as reports of casualties and damages streamed in. "Jack, what's the status of our orbital defenses?" Colonel Jack Harper, grim-faced, replied, The Threx are using some kind of pulse technology that's crippling our systems. We're struggling to keep up. We've underestimated their capabilities, added Captain Lisa Mendez, reviewing tactical data on her screen. Our traditional forces aren't enough. We need the primates on the front lines again. They've got the unpredictability factor we desperately need. Bennett nodded in agreement. Prepare for deployment. Eric, get me a direct line to the colony leaders. We need to coordinate our defenses and make sure civilian evacuations are prioritized. As the team sprang into action, Bennett took a moment to communicate with the leaders of the affected colonies, offering assurances and coordinating rescue operations. Meanwhile, Caesar and his squad were readied for their next mission, a direct confrontation with the Threx forces attacking Mars. The Primate squad, now equipped with upgraded armor and weaponry designed to counter the Threx pulse technology, landed on Mars amidst chaos. The red dust swirled around them as they engaged the enemy, moving through the colonies with a ferocity that stunned both human and alien onlookers. Dr. Sandra Lee, overseeing the biometric data flowing in from the Primates' suits, relayed vital information to Bennett. Their vitals are strong and they're adapting to the new tech. Caesar's leading them straight to the main Threx battalion. On the ground, the battle was brutal. The Threx soldiers, towering and formidable, fought with a cold efficiency, but they were not prepared for the guerrilla tactics of the Primates. Under Caesar's command, the squad sabotaged Threx armaments, liberated captured humans, and gradually pushed the invaders back. Back on Earth, Bennett watched the live feed, his heart racing with each advance and retreat. "Push forward," he commanded through the comms, his voice a beacon for the troops. As the tide of battle shifted, the Threx began to retreat, their numbers dwindling under the relentless assault of the Primates. Caesar, through a captured Threx communicator found on one of their officers, roared a challenge that echoed across the Martian plains, halting the retreating Threx in their tracks. "This planet belongs to humanity." Caesar's translated voice boomed, his figure standing tall amidst the wreckage. "Leave or be destroyed." The standoff lasted mere minutes before the Threx withdrew further, their ships lifting off from Mars and disappearing into the black of space. The victory was a hard-fought one, and as Bennett coordinated post-battle recovery efforts, he felt a shift in the war's momentum. "We've held them back for now," Bennett said to his team as they gathered around the command table. "But this is just the beginning. They'll come at us harder and smarter. We need to be ready to counter every move." With renewed determination, Earth's forces, led by the Primate squad, prepared for the next phase of the war. Humanity had proven its worth in the cosmic hierarchy, not just through technology or diplomacy, but through the courageous hearts of its most unexpected defenders. The war escalated as the Threx unleashed their most terrifying weapon yet. A colossal warship capable of annihilating entire moons, now orbiting Jupiter. Humanity's earlier victories had been costly, and the Threx were intent on a decisive blow that would end the conflict and subjugate Earth once and for all. Major Tom Bennett, understanding the gravity of the threat, planned a bold counteroffensive. In the command center, Bennett reviewed the situation with his team. "This ship, the Behemoth, is unlike anything we've faced. Its firepower is enough to wipe out our colonies in a single strike. We need a plan that's as unconventional as our troops." Colonel Jack Harper, analyzing the latest intelligence, pointed out, "Its armor is impregnable to most conventional weapons. However, its energy core is less protected during the weapon recharge cycle. A precise strike could disable it." Captain Lisa Mendez suggested, "The Primate squad's agility could get them inside the Behemoth during the recharge. It's risky, but Caesar and his team have the best chance of infiltrating and planting explosives." Dr. Sandra Lee, monitoring the biological enhancements of the Primates, added, "I've upgraded their neural interfaces for better communication and control under extreme conditions. They're ready." With the plan set, Bennett gave the order. As the Primate squad prepared for deployment, he communicated directly with Caesar, whose leadership had become legendary. "This mission is critical," he conveyed solemnly. "You're not just fighting for Earth now, you're fighting for the future of all humanity." Acknowledging the weight of his command, Caesar rallied his team, and they boarded their stealth shuttle. The shuttle approached Jupiter, maneuvering through the planet's tumultuous storm systems to mask its approach. As they neared the Behemoth, the squad launched in specialized space pods, hurtling towards the enemy ship like metallic meteors. Inside the Behemoth, chaos reigned as alarms blared. The Threx soldiers scrambled to defend their ship, unaware of the exact nature of the threat. Caesar and his squad breached the outer hull, their entry undetected amidst the confusion of battle. Navigating the labyrinthine corridors of the Behemoth, the primates encountered fierce resistance. Utilizing their enhanced combat skills, they engaged in close-quarters battles, pushing towards the core. Each skirmish tested their limits, but the training and enhancements kept them moving forward. Meanwhile, Bennett and his team watched anxiously from Earth. Every report, every piece of data fed back to them increased the tension. "They're almost there," Lisa reported, tracking the squad's progress. As Caesar's team reached the core, they set the charges, timing them to coincide with the next weapon recharge. With the explosives in place, they began their retreat, fighting their way back to the extraction point. The charges detonated, and the shock wave sent ripples through space. The Behemoth's weapon systems faltered, its core damaged critically. From Earth, the explosion appeared as a brief, bright flare against Jupiter's swirling clouds. "Direct hit," Jack exclaimed. "The Behemoth is disabled." Cheers erupted in the command center, but Bennett remained focused. "Get them out of there," he ordered, knowing the mission was not yet complete. The return was perilous as the Threx, in a frenzy, attempted to cut off the squad's escape routes. With daring and determination, Caesar and his team fought their way back to their pods, dodging debris and enemy fire. As they cleared the ship, the Behemoth began to break apart, its destruction ensured by the precise and brave actions of the Primate squad. Safely aboard their shuttle, the team made their way back to Earth, their mission a resounding success. Back on Earth, as news of the victory spread, humanity breathed a collective sigh of relief. Bennett knew this battle was a turning point, but the war was far from over. Still, for now, they had secured a vital victory that promised hope for a peaceful future. Following their stunning victory at Jupiter, Major Tom Bennett's strategy shifted from defense to a bold offensive. The destruction of the Threx warship Behemoth had given humanity a much-needed edge, but Bennett knew that to end the war, they needed to strike at the heart of the Threx Empire. Gathered in the strategic war room, Bennett laid out his most audacious plan yet to his senior officers. "We've managed to disrupt their operations and weaken their resolve," he began, pacing in front of the holographic maps displaying the Threx home system. "Now, we take the fight to them. We go behind enemy lines." Colonel Jack Harper, leaning over the display, chimed in. "The Threx homeworld is heavily fortified, and they won't be expecting a direct assault. It's risky, but this could effectively end the conflict." Captain Lisa Mendez added, "Our primate squad has proven they can handle the impossible. With the right support, they can infiltrate and sabotage the Threx command structure." Dr. Sandra Lee, concerned for the well-being of the primates under such stress, cautioned, "We need to ensure their survival. The enhancements and training are holding up, but this mission will push them to their limits." Bennett nodded solemnly. "We equip them with the latest stealth technology, and we give them a narrow window to minimize exposure. Every second will count." The plan was set. Disguised in captured Threx vessels, Bennett's team, including the primate squad led by Caesar, embarked on their perilous journey to the Threx homeworld. As they approached, the tension was palpable. The stakes were higher than ever. Upon entering the enemy system, they maintained strict radio silence. The primates, using the skills honed in previous battles, disembarked from their craft and made their way towards the main command center. Their movements were ghost-like, blending with the shadows cast by the alien architecture. Inside, the Threx were unaware of the threat that had infiltrated their walls. Caesar and his team navigated through corridors lined with alien technology, avoiding patrols and disabling security systems as they went. Each member of the squad knew their role, moving with precision and purpose. Meanwhile, Bennett monitored their progress from a temporary command ship, his heart racing with each update. "Status report," he demanded, his voice a whisper in the dimly lit room. "Team is inside the command center. Charges are set. Exfiltration in progress," came the reply from Lisa, her eyes fixed on the data streaming in. Suddenly, the mission took a critical turn. The Threx detected an anomaly within their systems, triggering alarms throughout the facility. Caesar and his team, realizing their cover was blown, moved quickly to complete their objective. "Detonate on my command," Bennett ordered, knowing that timing was now more crucial than ever. As the Threx forces converged on their position, Caesar activated the explosives. The resulting explosion was monumental, crippling the Threx's command capabilities and sending their leadership into disarray. With the mission accomplished, the primates fought their way back to their extraction point, facing heavy resistance. During a particularly fierce encounter, Caesar made a crucial decision to ensure the safety of his team, diverting enemy forces away from their escape route at the cost of his own capture. Bennett, realizing what had happened, clenched his fists, his voice breaking as he ordered, "Get them out of there, now!" The shuttle carrying the Primate squad, minus their leader, blasted off, leaving the planet as chaos engulfed the Threx command center. Back on Earth, the impact of their mission was immediately apparent. The Threx, without their central command, were vulnerable and disorganized. Despite the victory, the mood among Bennett and his team was somber. They had struck a decisive blow, but at a great personal cost. Bennett vowed to rescue Caesar, no matter what it took, their bond of trust and respect deeper than ever. The aftermath of the audacious strike on the Threx homeworld left both humanity and the alien empire reeling. While Earth celebrated the crippling of the Threx command structure, Major Tom Bennett felt the weight of the cost. Caesar, the leader of the Primate squad, had been captured during the mission. The victory tasted bittersweet. In the UESA's command center, the mood was somber despite the strategic success. Bennett stood before his team, his gaze lingering on the empty spot where Caesar would have stood. "This isn't over," he declared firmly. "We've achieved a significant victory today, but our mission will not be complete until we bring Caesar home." Colonel Jack Harper and Captain Lisa Mendez nodded in agreement, their determination mirroring Bennett's. "We're already working on extraction plans," Lisa assured him. "We won't leave him behind." Meanwhile, on the Threx homeworld, Caesar found himself in a high-security detention facility. Despite his predicament, his spirit remained unbroken. Using the intelligence and resilience that had defined his leadership, he began to observe his captors and their routines, plotting his escape. Back on Earth, Bennett and his team worked tirelessly. They decrypted Threx communications, gathered intelligence, and prepared a daring rescue operation. The global sentiment was overwhelmingly in support of the Primate heroes, with public demonstrations calling for Caesar's safe return. The rescue mission was set into motion under the cover of darkness. A small, elite team, led personally by Bennett, infiltrated the Threx planet once again. They used stealth technology to evade detection, making their way to the detention center where Caesar was held. Inside the facility, chaos erupted as alarms sounded, the result of Bennett's team's expert sabotage. Amidst the confusion, Bennett found Caesar, who, despite his ordeal, managed to greet his rescuer with a knowing nod. "Time to go home," Bennett said, clasping the Primate's arm. The escape was fraught with danger, but the bond between the human and Primate fighters had never been stronger. Together they fought their way back to the extraction point, covering each other's movements and ensuring no one was left behind. Once back on Earth, the reunion was emotional. Caesar was greeted as a hero, his bravery and sacrifice becoming the stuff of legend. The world watched as he stood beside Bennett, a symbol of the indomitable spirit of all Earth's defenders. In the following days, peace negotiations began. The Threx, now leaderless and disorganized, could no longer sustain their campaign against humanity. A treaty was signed, and though the scars of war would take time to heal, the threat of annihilation had been averted. Major Tom Bennett stood beside Caesar at a commemoration ceremony, the eyes of the world upon them. "This victory," Bennett addressed the crowd, "was not won by might alone, but by the courage to stand up in the face of overwhelming odds, and by the sacrifices of those like Caesar." The ceremony concluded with a moment of silence for all who had fallen, followed by a resounding applause that echoed across the globe. Humanity had not only survived, it had prevailed. As peace returned, Bennett often found himself beside Caesar, looking out into the stars. They had fought side by side, different yet alike, warriors forged in the crucible of conflict. The war was over, but their guardianship of Earth's newfound place in the cosmos was just beginning.